Christopher Leach, we are very happy to have you here in this first interview. For those who don't know you, what people should know about you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. Yeah, I'm Christopher Leach. I'm originally from the UK, Brighton, England, southeast of England, and I've been living in Vienna for the last 28 years, excuse me. Yeah, I moved here partly for other work. I work also in art education, and I was offered a job halfway through university, which was a wonderful opportunity for me to know that when I finish university, I could come and work here. And I've always been fascinated with Vienna. It's been it's a beautiful city, steeped in art history, and the Schilers and the Klimts and the Kokoschkas and the kind of more contemporary art also coming from Vienna has been fascinating to me over the years. And so yeah, I've been living here since the late 90s, and I have a studio here, and I've been working and painting all that time. And yeah, it's a fascinating, wonderful place to be in Central Europe. So yeah.
Amazing. What characterizes you in your work? If we need to highlight.
Well, I mean, I work in 3 or 4 different sort of ways, themes, excuse me. The portrait, the figure, the urban landscape, the kind of main focus points for the themes that I work with. Traditionally, I've been working mainly through figurative art, figurative painting. I've always found figurative art fascinating, and since I was about 14, I went to the then Tate Gallery, which is now called Tate Britain in London, and I was wowed by a fabulous German expressionist painter called Max Beckmann, who loved, and I sat in front of his work for many hours, and he inspired figuratively. The way he constructs his compositions, his canvases were kind of constructed beautifully, and I found that very, very interesting. A lot of interior spaces, claustrophobia, very expressive, and his work was of great fascination. And then when I got older, I started getting more interested in the British kind of art scene, from the post-war art scene, from people like Lucian Freud, Francis Bacon, and all of those elements, techniques, styles, compositions, etc., kind of came into the work that I've sort of been making over the last sort of 20 or 25 years, I suppose. Mainly singular figures in interior spaces. The technique has developed and changed over the years, but it's predominantly oil on canvas, but in recent years it's been more oil with wooden panels. I've been quite interested in using wooden panels, partly because recently I've been using less brushes and more working with rollers and scrapers and brayers, I believe they're called, and you can really rub and push and be very kind of physically quite intense with the mark making. And that's become quite interesting over the years. And so working on canvas it's a little bit too soft. It's too flexible. Whereas working on wood, of course, it's a hard surface, so you can really be a little bit more expressive, a bit more physical, let's say, with the mark making. And I've found that recently to be quite exciting. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. What is behind these 2 great artworks we have here at the Visages exhibition?
Well, as I said, it's figurative interior spaces. From quite an early, I think I was 12 or 13 when I was my local theatre, amateur dramatic theatre. I was able to help and assist in kind of backstage and at the side of the stage, and so I got to see kind of behind the scenes, if you like, and how the actors were kind of putting on a face or putting on a performance. They're going into their backstage room, their dressing room, and they're making up and coming out, doing their performance, and then disappearing back into their kind of silent space in the silent rooms, and removing, if you like, removing a mask. And I've often found that that's quite an interesting theme to work with, looking at, you know, the silence, the contemplation, the times that we are alone, and when we're able to sort of be ourselves and not be having to perform or to be somebody else. And that's driving quite a lot of the sort of the theme behind most of the sort of interior figure paintings that I've done recently.
We might say that this is a reflection of who you are.
Quite possibly, yes. As an only child as well, yeah. You know, I find it's also, you know, I work in the studio on my own, of course, and you know, the kind of the artist, the painter in the studio is quite a sort of insular and silent solo of kind of profession, and the creative process is very, very much sort of driven as a solo artist. I don't really work in teams, of course. So a painting might take 100 hours or 50 hours or whatever, or even, you know, 5 minutes, whatever it could be. But it's a very silent, creative, insular, if you like, process. So I kind of relate to that, and also as an only child, that I think, you know, when I was younger, I used to work a lot as a, you know, when I was a child, and I drew a lot in my space at home, in my bedrooms, and so I kind of relate to that, and I find that a very comfortable place to be. You know, I'm never bored on my own. You know, this is something I'm very happy with, of course, and yeah, working alone, the reflection of that is definitely kind of connected to these sort of singular interior sort of figurative studio paintings that I've produced over the years, definitely.
Interesting. We perceive from your words also you're a genuine man.
Yes, I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but yeah.
Well, we have exchanged few conversations in the last weeks,
Yes.
once when we met, you and your wife here at the gallery, and it's like you don't have time for bullshit. You know,
No, certainly not.
You are straight man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
genuine. You
Yeah,
know very well what you want.
for sure. Yeah.
Don't trick me. Let's go
No,
for
no,
it. And
for sure.
you also express it in your work, no?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm yeah. I'd like to think I'm very honest and down to earth, and you know, who you see is and what you see is what you get. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not hiding anything. That's for sure. No.
Sure. Because I mean, we want to accompany this conversation that you judge people not by the words but by the facts, no?
Yeah.
So
Sure.
you speak, but you are coherent with your actions. We don't know you that much, but for those weeks we know you already. It match, no? Your speech
Okay.
with your actions.
Yeah.
Say, no?
That's yeah. Yeah. I guess that's who I am. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yeah. There's nothing hidden. No, that's for sure.
Nice. How was your experience at the night of the opening?
I mean, it was a great experience. It was extremely hot, which was obviously a little uncomfortable, but no, the experience was excellent. The warmth of the gallery. There's nothing pretentious about the gallery, which is fantastic. I met lots of excellent new people, and yeah, swapped contacts with some very, very interesting people, and yeah, only a positive experience.
Fantastic to hear. Thank you. What are your plans for 2026? Do you have something in mind? Something you can share, because few things cannot be shared, of course.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I'm going to continue working with the sort of three main focus themes, but I'm going to try and move a little bit more back into portraiture. I've got some ideas. I've been looking a lot of late at kind of, well, Chuck Close for sure. I've been following for many years, and his work is phenomenally good, and I adore the way he builds his pixelated kind of images and kind of put them together in a painted form on canvas, and they're stunning. And I've got some ideas that I'd like to develop that are connected to, again, it's that mask idea of putting the mask on or taking the mask off. And this time I want to work with a close friend of mine who's a photographer, and we're going to do some large format portraits, which I'm then going to transfer onto canvas and or possibly wood, let's see. But yeah, large format portraits are going to be the next series, which I hope to begin within the next few weeks, and that'll take me until the end of the year, I would imagine, because these formats are going to be quite large, and the painting process is quite long.
Excellent. So we hope to see you soon. We hope to see also these new artworks.
For sure, yeah.
We appreciate your time today here with us.
Many thanks. Thank you.